Look at your track record with yourself. How many times have you not show up to yourself the way you wanted to? How many times have you doubted your own decisions? How many times have you asked other people around you for their opinions? How many times have you looked for external validation? How many times have you asked people about your feelings, about your emotions, kind of waited for them to validate the way you feel? How many times did you know what was the right decision to make, and yet you did not make it because you wanted to keep the peace, you wanted to avoid the conflict, because you did not want to push people away, because you did not want to come across as selfish, you were too scared to be seen, you were too scared to have a voice, and you were too scared to be your true authentic self. The result was that you stayed longer than you needed to in that wrong relationship. You did something that you did not want to do. You said yes when you meant to say no. You overfunctioned, you overgave, you neglected your own needs. You did not keep up to your own promises to yourself. Being able to build self-trust is the core foundation to having a great relationship with yourself. I know this from experience. And the reason is because, in essence, self-trust means knowing that we can rely on our own emotions, judgment, and perception of reality without constantly needing external validation, especially when things are not going the way we want them to go. This means that self-trust is essential during difficult times, after we make a mistake, when we try something new and it doesn't work, when we are in a relationship and the partner is not cooperating, when we are in a relationship and we see red flags, and instead of making a decision, instead of having boundaries and sticking to them, we make up excuses, we tone down the disrespectful behavior because we want to avoid the conflict, we want to keep the peace. Every single time we do this, we doubt ourselves, we betray ourselves, and we weaken the muscle of self-trust. On the other hand, when we honor our intuition, when we believe our own version of reality, we depend on our perception without needing the other person's narrative or story to validate how we see things. When we make a decision from that place, and we follow up, we keep the commitment, and we keep the promise that we made to ourselves, every single one of those is a building block to self-trust. Fortunately, most of us learned not to trust ourselves at a young age. During our childhood, if something happens and then we show up to our parent, we ask them about what's going on, and instead of trying to explain what was going on in a simple way that validates our feelings, so many well-intending parents gave us a completely different version of the reality, saying everything's fine, no, that's okay, you don't have to worry about that. And gradually, this made us doubt the way we perceive ourselves and the surroundings. And that's why we used to depend more on our parents or our caregivers' emotions, because we felt that, well, we can trust that more than we can trust our own feelings and the way we see things. Fast forward 20, 30 years, and this is exactly the way we show up to ourselves and to others in relationships. This is why when we see red flags, instead of acting upon them, we try to make excuses. We stay longer than needed. We make up a story in our head about things are gonna get better. No relationship is perfect. We try to tone down the pain because we're not confident in our ability to face this pain without stumbling. We think that, well, I can't take the consequences of this person leaving me. But if you trust yourself enough to know that you have the capability, you have the strength, the inner power, you have the skills, everything it takes for you to face this challenge, to learn something out of it, and to come the other side as a better human being. And instead of doing this, we try to avoid our feelings. We run away from them because we don't know, because we are not sure that we can rely on ourselves. This is why for self-trust, it's really important to come up with a list of all the times you showed up to yourself. You write down all the difficult times you went through, how you showed up to yourself, how you kept promises to yourself, and how you created something out of the pain that you were going through. It doesn't have to be big things, it could be little experiences. But when you have this evidence in your pocket, you check it every time you find yourself in a new difficult situation. Over time, this is going to build your self trust muscle so that the next time you're going through a difficult time, the next time you make a mistake, the next time someone lets you down, the next time you try something and it doesn't work, you have evidence that you can handle this exactly the way you handled it in the past. For me, one of the ways I started doing this was when I started meditating years ago, more than 7 years ago. I said to myself, I'm going to meditate every single day, no matter what. The only reason that's going to keep me from meditating was if I'm dead. If I'm still alive, I am going to meditate every day. And I did it. I kept my own promise. More than 7 years, I haven't missed a day of meditation. This is powerful because right now, if I'm starting something new, if someone let me down, I can always look back and say, well, look at that. I have a long record of trusting myself and being able to say, well, I made myself a promise and I acted upon it. I have the resilience, I have the self-regulation that enables me to handle whatever emotions come. Not even fear can stop me because I'm not afraid of feeling fear. It's okay. Fear is part of the human experience. And so is anger, frustration, sadness, and all of these emotions. So I think it's really important, if you want to trust ourselves more, to remember that we are way more powerful than we think we are, and to start having, maybe little daily rituals or practices that can confirm this to us. I highly recommend meditating. You don't have to do it for hours. 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day could be a great start, but it's a fantastic tool to start building your self-trust skill over time. And yes, I say that it's a skill. It's like a muscle, something that you can train day in and day out, so that during difficult times, you don't need to look around and go for other people for their opinions, and you're waiting for them to validate or to confirm your perception of what is going on.